there?
Thought for sure just our initial physicality. Thought Louis, Vando for sure, Gabe, LeBron. Like we just had a lot of guys play really physical basketball on that end. And then it's just the commitment to it. Not overreacting to Gordon making early threes, not overreacting to Westbrook making jump shots. That takes a certain level of discipline to do that. But our guys just really, executed it really well.
To see Luka just in a good place physically, mentally, and to have that kind of a game, at what point did you realize you kind of had it going? Was it pretty early?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I've talked a lot about this in my previous profession. With him, he has, when he's at his best, he has this really unique ability to live in this tension of joyful and playful and a killer mentality. And I thought he was able to find that. That's what
How do you think emotionally he'll handle
I think it's every day that he's been with us, becoming the normal. I've been there like the first time you play your old team, particularly this close in time duration. It's going to be weird, but he'll be able to handle it.
And having even the fact that you were his teammate in Dallas, St. Jean, Evans, Dorian, with this group has helped the transition for him.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, Markeith, of course, Maxie. I think just having familiar faces around is great for him. I mean, you never know though, because you're talking about a guy who left home as a teenager to go to Madrid in a different country and learn how to speak Spanish on his own. Like he's a different dude. But I think for him, given the magnitude of the change in scenery, I think having us around to help him, support him, has been great.
Speaking of your previous career, do you have any words of advice or encouragement for Richard Jefferson upon getting
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think they picked the wrong person. No, it's funny because I saw him Friday night, and I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "They haven't told me anything." And then I show up in the green room on Saturday, and Mike and Doris were like, "We have our newest member of the finals crew." I looked down and I'm like, "What? You withholding information from me?" He's like, "No, I literally found out today." So I'm thrilled for him. He deserves it. He's someone who, I say this all the time about him, like he was born to do television, probably more so than being born to be a basketball player. Like he's just got a natural ability, and he's someone, like I've been around him now for 4 years in that space. He just works at his craft. Like he takes it, he's dedicated to it. So I'm happy for him, and I think that's a great move.
Did you guys have everybody today for practice?
Yeah, it was good.
Haven't kind of had a situation like this year where you had everybody. What were you able to do today? Are you still installing stuff, or are you working to get Luka up to speed on stuff?
We did some situation bombs with some endgame stuff, like 5 situation bombs. So 2 defensive, 3 offensive scenarios, which we would be doing anyways if we didn't have new players. Those things you have to constantly sharpen it up, tweak, practice, all that stuff. So we worked on that, and then a lot of today was just prep for that.
JJ, did you ever, as a player, podcaster, broadcaster, coach, did you ever watch the standings closely, 5 games?
As a player, I did.
Yeah.
As a broadcaster and podcaster, no.
Yeah.
As a coach, yeah, you're
pretty dialed in.
You're psychotic back there. I wake up every morning and I say, all right, who's playing who today? I need to know. I think coaches, I remember being in Philly with like Jim O'Brien and Brett and all those guys. And, as a player, you're obviously looking at the standings, but I don't know who else is playing tonight. I know we have a game, and that's all they would talk about. Who is Cleveland playing? Was there a chance Cleveland played? We're trying to get the 3 seed.
I found myself caring yesterday way more than I usually do.
Yeah, coaches are like that. Yeah, coaches are like that.
JJ, it's the first time you guys are going to be playing Max. Can you just speak to his growth with you guys this season, and then the way that he's seemed to grow more offensively?
Yeah, you know, again, Max, since the day I took the job, was someone that I was very high on, and really, him and Jalen were the first two guys that we got our hands on because we weren't with the summer league team all that much. So Bronny and DK were kind of with that group, and Max and Jalen were with us in summer league, and just feel very invested for the rest of my life in his career. He's someone who, throughout our time together, was given more opportunity and became someone who starred in his role. He has a lot of freedom in Dallas that, frankly, he didn't have here. At some point, he would have had it here, but really happy to see him succeeding.
There were cameras in the locker room. Captured your intensity for that game fairly well. It seemed like early a sliver of it. You guys are going to play a lot of big games here in the stretch. Is that a realistic demand, like that energy level, that sort of level of big game feel? Can that be captured night to night? How have you guys done with that so far this season?
I think more times than not, we've done really well. There's certainly a feel to it of when to press and when not to press. I would say for me personally, watching Dallas stuff yesterday, obviously watching some of the games. My kids had their semifinals and finals in the travel tournament I was at. I spent a lot of time watching basketball yesterday, and I couldn't wait to come to work for that. And I can't wait for tomorrow, and we'll be excited for Wednesday. That's just, for me personally, that's just how I know I'm doing the right thing right now. This is what I thought it would be, and my own sustainability, we're not worried about that. I think as a coach, you just have to gauge the energy of the group and the vibe of the group, and know when to press and when not to press. But we're preparing. Our guys recognize we're in a dogfight for playoff seeding right now, and we're preparing for the playoffs. And everything we do.
Now that Luka's been here for a few weeks, is there something in particular about his basketball brilliance, his basketball IQ that really speaks to you?
I think part of what makes him brilliant is that he makes the game easy for everyone else. I didn't get to experience that as much as I would have liked as a teammate, but he would be somebody that I would just love to know.
Coach, since the AD trade, the team's been top 3 in grading, really been doing a good job of denying points in the paint. How's the team been able to excel defensively even after losing a guy like AD?
Again, just team defense, and that's something that we have preached and talked about throughout the year, not just when we had AD. Our group is committed to it right now, and we have some good defenders. We have some really good defenders, but I think in the NBA, OKC has a bunch of really good on-ball guys. They still play defense. You have to play a good defense. You have to rely on each other, and we're doing that right now.
Kind of along those lines, past 18 games, you guys have best defense in the league, top 8 offense, top 3 net rating, best record. That's been with AD and Max, with just Max, without either of them, with Luka. So you guys have kind of gone through different identity shifts within that period. What's been like the through line, you feel like, on both sides of the ball, that despite personnel and even kind of playing different styles, you guys have still been top 3 team?
Playing hard, competing. You're trying to capture that every night, and again, this is a team sport, and the group has to be right. And I think more times than not, our group has just been right with our competitive spirit. We would lose the game anyways if we didn't have new players. Those things you have to constantly sharpen it up, tweak, practice, all that stuff. So we work on that, and then a lot of today was just prep for that.
JJ, did you ever, as a player, podcast or broadcast or coach, did you ever watch the standings closely? 5 games?
As a player, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. as a broadcaster and podcaster now.
Yeah.
As a coach, yeah, you're
Pretty dialed in.
You're psychotic. You're psychotic about it. I wake up every morning and I say, all right, who's playing who today? I need to know. I think coaches, I remember being in Philly with like Jim O'Brien and Brett and all those guys. And, as a player, you're obviously looking at the standings, but like I don't know who else is playing tonight. I know we have a game, and that's all they would talk about. Who is Cleveland playing? Was there a chance Cleveland played? We're trying to get the 3 seed.
I found myself caring yesterday
Yeah.
way more than I usually do.
Yeah.
The intensity of physical play was a defining factor in the game, with the team embracing a commitment to toughness from the opening tip. The approach mirrored the grit and resilience often seen in the style of players like LeBron James, as multiple guys stepped up and embraced the challenge of playing physically in key areas. Discipline was a major focus. There was no overreaction to early three-pointers from Gordon, nor to West finding his rhythm from mid-range. Instead, the team maintained composure, demonstrating a level of focus and execution that allowed them to dictate the game on their terms. A standout moment was seeing Luka Doncic in peak form, both physically and mentally, delivering the kind of performance that underscores his generational talent. Asked at what point he felt locked in, he acknowledged that it happened early, a sign of his ability to settle into that perfect balance of joy and intensity. When Luka is at his best, he operates in a unique space where his playful demeanor coexists with a ruthless, killer mentality. That ability to toggle between the two makes him one of the most captivating players in the league. Familiarity can often ease the transition for a player adjusting to new surroundings, and that has been evident with former teammates from Dallas helping smooth the process. Having guys like Dorian Finney-Smith and Maxi Kleber around has provided a level of comfort, though it's worth noting that Luka is no stranger to adaptation. His journey, from leaving home as a teenager to play in Madrid, learning Spanish on his own, and thriving in a completely foreign environment, speaks to his resilience and ability to adjust to new challenges. Shifting to the broadcast world, Richard Jefferson's recent career move drew attention, and it's a decision that seems almost inevitable given his natural charisma and media savvy. He was quite literally built for television, perhaps even more so than basketball. The way he commits to his craft, refining his skills as a broadcaster with the same dedication he showed on the court, makes his rise unsurprising. There was a bit of humor in the situation, as he himself was unaware of his new finals crew assignment until the last minute, highlighting the unpredictability of the industry. On the court, the team remains locked in, balancing preparation and execution. Practice sessions have been geared towards situational awareness, with a mix of defensive and offensive scenario work aimed at keeping the group sharp. The goal is to ensure that, regardless of new additions to the roster, the team continues to refine the critical details necessary for high-level competition. Basketball is an obsession for coaches, and that was on full display in the way preparations have intensified. The mindset has shifted from simply keeping track of standings to studying matchups with an obsessive level of detail. That kind of engagement is what separates elite teams, and it's a sign of how locked in the coaching staff is as the playoff push continues. The responsibility is not just to prepare for the immediate game but to shape the team's overall trajectory, ensuring the group peaks at the right time. The evolution of individual players has also been a key storyline. Max has been a focal point of development since day one, with his growth on both ends of the floor making him an increasingly vital piece. From Summer League to now, the commitment to his progression has been evident, and seeing him thrive in Dallas has been rewarding, even if it required a shift in role. His offensive game has expanded significantly, and had he stayed, that freedom would have eventually come here as well. The challenge of sustaining high-level energy every night is a real one, especially in a stretch filled with big games. Capturing the intensity of a marquee matchup consistently is a tough ask, but this group has responded well. There's a strategic awareness of when to press and when to pull back, an understanding that stems from experience and a deep grasp of what it takes to win over the course of a grueling season. The excitement around each game remains palpable, and that energy is contagious, feeding into the team's preparation and mindset. Defensively, the team has found a way to maintain elite performance despite roster changes. Even after losing key pieces, a commitment to team defense has been the backbone of success. The buy-in has been universal, with every player embracing the necessity of collective effort on that end of the floor. While individual defenders are critical, the NBA requires teams to defend as a unit, and that cohesion has been a major reason for the sustained defensive excellence. Statistically, the numbers reflect the dominance. The team has ranked in the top 3 defensively over the past 18 games, with an offense that has also remained in the upper echelon. Despite navigating multiple roster shifts and stylistic adjustments, the consistency has been remarkable. The through line across all the changes? Playing hard, competing every night, and staying locked in on the bigger picture. The group's competitive spirit has been unwavering, a crucial factor in their ability to maintain their place among the league's elite. As the playoffs approach, the urgency is clear. Every detail matters, every adjustment is magnified, and the team continues to fine-tune their approach, recognizing that they are in a fight for seeding and, ultimately, for a deep postseason run. The blend of talent, preparation, and competitive fire will determine just how far they go, but one thing is certain: they are battle-tested and ready for whatever comes next.